What's it like shooting the British Touring Car Championship at Knockhill in 2023? Knockhill racing circuit is incredible. It's surrounded by mountains on either side of the track, and one minute it can be dry, next minute it can be absolutely hammering down. In this video, I'm going to show you my experience. The track is 1.2 miles long and it has a number of undulating turns and corners around the circuit. It makes for incredibly close racing and it's a fantastic environment to be in. So I flew up to Edinburgh on the Thursday. So I flew from Southampton to Edinburgh and I flew via Loganair, which was a fantastic airline to fly in and relatively cheap to get from one end of the country to the other. So highly recommend flying with them. As soon as I landed in Edinburgh, straight through the airport, straight out the other side and straight onto a bus. It is £10 for the bus and that gets you outside the airport boundary. I had to pick my car up from just outside the airport boundary, so just as an FYI on that front. I stayed in a little hotel that was about 30 minutes drive from Knockhill Racing Circuit, so there are lots of hotels all dotted around Edinburgh and bits and pieces like that, but just be aware that the prices are quite high around that weekend because obviously the touring cars are in town. But there's lots of options. There's Premier Inn, there's local hotels, there's hostels there if you want to go down that route as well, and there's also Airbnbs and bits and pieces like that. But just bear in mind, traffic, it's relatively good all around the circuit, so each day I was easy to get in, easy to get out of the circuit, so driving there is not an issue, but you will need to drive. Public transport isn't really an option. I did see a couple of people who pay for taxis, but from what I heard they were quite expensive. So free practice one, so I go out the media centre, straight down to Duffer's Dip to take photographs. It's a brilliant corner. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It's obviously got high-rise curbs on the inside, and all of the touring cars are hitting that curb and they're getting up on two wheels as they go around. I mean, if you're going to go to one corner, that is the corner to go to. It is fantastic. I'd say they're up on two wheels going down, and some of us, you know, they're going quite a way down the hill on two wheels before they sort of land back down on all fours again. So I spent about 10 minutes there for the first free practice, getting all the shots that was required for the customers, and then I slowly worked my way down the hill, went up to the chicane, and that's probably my second best place to go and photograph, because a lot of the cars are going left and right and then right and left as they go through the chicane. So you know, the cars are twitching and turning as they sort of go around the corner, and if you can get in the right place for the photographs, I mean, it's quite low on the barriers on the outside, so if you're just there to photograph a few of the cars, that's a brilliant place to go, because they're sort of like left and right, and the cars will sort of step out every now and again as well, so it's really quite a cool place to go. I can't overestimate it enough. It is a really cool place to go and photograph cars there, so that's a highly recommended place. But from there I sort of worked my way up to the last corner, and then Taylor's Corner, it's a great place to photograph if you're sort of where a lot of the stands are, but just an FYI, where you are on the outside, there's some quite high fencing there, helps you capture fencing just in case, and there's only a small little gap for official photographers to actually shoot through. So great place just to watch it, but just bear in mind if you're ever going to photograph in that place, it is quite high on the fencing, so you might want to just make your way further up around the sort of hospitality areas, because around there it's lower fencing again, so you can sort of photograph down towards the cars, which is pretty epic as well. So qualifying, it's always fast and furious under Knockhill and the British Touring Car Championship. So I actually started down at McIntyre's, and then I sort of worked my way back up to Duffer's Dip and then up to the pit lane, so I could then sort of photograph as and when things were happening, but also slowly making my way back to the pit lane. Obviously, when you're taking photographs, there's a set of criteria that people want from our customers, and my customer wanted photographs of people getting out of their car, celebrating that they've whatever place they've qualified. So basically, it's the top 3. So they wanted photographs of that. So that's how I sort of worked it. I worked away from sort of the furthest point I could kind of do in the session, and then worked my way back up, because it is quite a hilly place. So it's a lot of effort getting back up the hill during the day. So worked my way back up into the pits, got some pictures in Parc Ferme, and that rounds out qualifying for Saturday. So it's race day for Knockhill for the British Touring Car Championship, and it was a pretty mega day, I have to admit. So race 1, it's dry as we're all sort of lining up on the grid. You know, everyone's sort of there to go and do the grid walks. I'm taking a few photographs on the grid just as the grid forms, as the cars are coming down. You can get some really interesting shots, and you can sometimes get it where the cars look like they're in the middle of a race, but actually they're just sort of turning up to their grid slot. So it's actually quite a cool experience to go on. But yeah, I go down to Duffers Dip for the first corner. Obviously first time photographing at Knockhill, so I want to get myself in a good position. And obviously you talk to lots of people during the time that you're there, so you sort of get an idea of where good places are. But yeah, Duffers Dip, turn 1, you know, 20 odd cars going into turn 1 where it's quite tight, you know, high-rise curves on the inside. There's bound to be a little bit of to and fro on the first lap. So yeah, first corner, it was manic, absolutely manic. Keeping up with all the cars, and obviously quite a short circuit, so you knew that they're going to be round in quite quick succession. A few laps into the race, and obviously it starts to rain, and then it absolutely hammers it down. So half the grid are going into the pits to go and get wet. Some of the cars are still out on slick tyres when it's absolutely hammering it down. I mean, it was absolutely crazy, but a fantastic experience, and everyone who was watching was just on their toes, trying to see what was going on. There's so much action left, right and centre. But congratulations to Tom Ingram for obviously winning, or what we thought was going to win, but unfortunately his car failed in the post-race inspection. So congratulations to Jake Hill for actually winning and passing all their post-race inspections. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to Andrew Watson and Ricky Collard for second and third. So well done. Race 2 thankfully was a little bit more calmer. The sun had come out, so it was nice and warm out there, and it made a good experience because all our clothes were starting to dry off, and after a few days of heavy rain, it was a nice place to go. It was lovely though, you know, you're in t-shirts and everything, so it did make quite a difference. So race 2 was dry. So I went back down to Duffers Dip again, and just made my way back up after turn 1. After a couple of minutes being there, just sort of made my way back up and stopped off at some of the breaks in the fencing, just to get a few shots as they came down the main pit straight, and then worked my way into the pit lane, get some shots of some of the cars that were sort of changing tyres or had crash damage or anything like that. Then get a few shots as them coming down the main straight, which is always good at fast pace and fast speed. So you get some nice blurred backgrounds on that, so that's always good fun. And then over to Parc Ferme. So obviously Jake Hill won race 2, so congratulations Jake. It was a fantastic race, and I got some of the best shots all weekend from Jake and his expression, so absolutely brilliant. And then Ash Sutton was second, so congratulations Ash on second place. And then rounding out the top 3 was Stephen Gilly, so congratulations Stephen for race 3. So race 3, oh my god, what a brilliant race. I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, I got absolutely drenched, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I got soaked right the way through. Every nook and cranny on my body was absolutely wet, soaked through. But it was fantastic. So onto the grid for the pre-race grid walk. When we're on the grid walk, everything sort of looks fine, but you could just tell there's moisture in the air. And then when you look up, you could see in the distance that the clouds were forming. There were dark clouds forming over the hills, and it was like, this is going to either hit just as the race starts or just before. And obviously left the grid. I could see that everything was sort of calming down. All the guests had sort of been asked to leave the grid. And then I managed to get to the outside of the corner by Taylor's Corner, just so I could get something a bit different for race 3. And what a race. I mean, obviously the start is delayed by about, I think it was about 20 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. I can't remember now how long it was delayed for, but it seemed like an awfully long time. And rightly so, it was absolutely the right decision. It was absolutely the right decision through and through. But yeah, I went and actually, I went and hid in the Marshalls hut with the Marshalls, and we all had fruit pastels and drinks and that. So thank you to the Marshalls. Not only are you amazing and make all this motorsport happen, you are fantastic individuals, so I cannot thank you enough, and your hospitality was brilliant. So thank you to the Marshalls at Taylor's Corner. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So thank you for everything there. But eventually the race did get underway. The clouds sort of dissipated, the rain sort of slowed down, and I probably got some of my best shots of the entire weekend, because obviously as you're going around sort of Taylor's Corner, it is quite tight, so you get the angle of the wheels obviously pointing out, and then you've got all the rain from the cars. You get the spray of the cars where they're braking, accelerating, and it's all underneath the cars. So it was some of my best shots of the weekend, some of my best sellers actually. So the cars look fantastic. There was a little bit of to and fro between the cars. You know, unfortunately, one of the BMWs got turned around. I think it was Jake Hill, and I think it might be even Stephen Jelly again, but got tapped from behind. So yeah, I put a couple of those up on the screen now, but it was brilliant. Absolute rivers everywhere, absolutely soaked through, but it was so much fun, absolutely so much fun. Never had so much fun at a touring car race at that time, so it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But once I'd done sort of that corner, I sort of head up back to the pits again, getting ready for Parc Fermé, welcoming in all the winners. So obviously Ash Sutton won, so congratulations Ash for winning race 3 of Knockhill. And then we had Josh Cook in second, and then we had Tom Ingram from third. So it was a brilliant way to round off the weekend. Obviously up on the podium, taking all the podium shots and bits and pieces before I head back to the media centre. I put one of my cameras down, left it by the podium, walked off, left my camera, you know, several £1,000s worth of camera equipment, all by the side there, walked back to the media centre. Oh damn, I've left my camera there. And thankfully I walked back and it was still sat there, happy as Larry. So just go show that the people up there are fantastic, really, really nice. The hospitality, the food, the drink, it was exceptional. It really, really was. It was extremely well run, and the organisers, both the TOCA, the BARC, and obviously Knockhill, they put on a fantastic weekend. It was brilliant. It really, really was. So top notch. Well done.